What's up guys, welcome back to episode 3 of the daily crypto and forex analysis show here on the Smith Trading YouTube channel. Just a quick reminder before we do jump into this episode, if you like the content, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and be sure to come and join us in our Discord channel if you are a trader. So firstly, we're going to kick off with a Bitcoin analysis. There is a nice Wyckoff accumulation cycle playing out on Bitcoin. I've got the diagram in front of me that highlights how this plays out. So simply put, a Wyckoff is an accumulation cycle, and it's a potential reversal cycle that could take Bitcoin up to that 9,500 key level that I mentioned in my previous episode. So on the diagram you can see a Wyckoff accumulation stems from a sharp downtrend that creates a lower low and traps short sellers. It traps people that are shorting the market with a lower low and then creates a sharp new uptrend that breaches the higher high, as you can see on the chart here. We are up in this phase D/phase E SOS stage, so I can show you on Bitcoin here. Now this analysis was created by Crypto Bullet. I'll send a link to his trading view in the description of this video so you can check out his profile. So as you can see, Bitcoin is following that diagram quite nicely. We're in the SOS stage right now, and price action has actually pulled back to that little green box around 7,700, which I can show you on my chart here. So as you can see, I've got it highlighted with a pink/purple box around the 7,700 mark, which is currently the market price on Bitcoin. So I'm actually taking a long here after my short that I took profits on yesterday. So this 7,700 region is the lower low of the range here that you can see that I have highlighted, and if we zoom out, it's also the previous breakout point. So that is obviously why it's a key region here, why people are looking to buy. Typically, you know, when we see a breakout, which happened around here, price action likes to come down and sort of retest that region, which is doing now. Furthermore, you can see that price action is slap bang in the middle of the 200 EMA and the 50 MA, which is another reason to buy. It's a median, and that means, you know, we are in the middle of a move to the upside or downside. So we know that if we break down, a new downtrend could form, and it's most likely so because we're in the middle, and if we break upwards, you know, that means we're breaking out of that median point. So if you look down to the max momentum indicator, you can see that we're starting to curl up now. We've had a little bit of down momentum after 3 higher highs, which is very typical for the max momentum. If we do see a breakout, there's typically 3 higher highs in green and then a switch to red, which allows some consolidation and a retest, and then we go back up, and the first high on the green will actually be higher than the last green high on the breakout point, which is what I'm hoping to see here. Next up, we have some analysis on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. As you can see, there is a rising wedge that has formed with 3 higher highs on both the rising resistance and rising support, which has recently in the last few hours broken to the downside. So I've entered on that break to the downside. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that my favorite style of trading is entering on a break to the downside of a clear formation that has at least 3 points of contact on both the support and the resistance, which is clearly what's happening here, and it's very obvious to me, and it's quite a nice setup that I like quite a bit. So if we look at 50 MA, we can see that you know, the wick on the last hourly candle has pretty much touched that, and now it's coming back up. So perhaps we'll spring back to the upside slightly and retest that breakdown point, which is fine. I have my stop loss sort of, you know, lingering around this mark here, so I'll create an array there for you so you can see. So perhaps this is where I'm going to stick my stop loss, because we know if price action does go any higher than that, then it's not a retest of the breakout point, it's actually a reversal, and then I'll need to readjust my support. So let's say that did happen, I would need to readjust my support, and it would look probably something like this. We would see this candle here on the 50 MA would actually be a support, which I'd need to readjust, and then you can see there is still 3 rising supports. However, the best risk to reward trade here is a short to the downside, because if we zoom out our chart and we go on the 4 hour, you can see there's actually a bigger pattern in play, which I've been following for the last sort of 2 to 3 months. So there was a rising channel that broke to the downside in about the 5th of January, which stems on this rising channel that we are playing at the moment. So if we, on the 4 hour, if we look at the 200 EMA, and the 50 MA, you can see they've both crossed down over each other. Now this is a typical sell signal in conjunction with the breakdown of the rising channel. It's a very convincing short for me, and that's why I'm choosing to go short and not long here. So I've highlighted, 3 main support areas that I'm looking to really take profit on, and they stem from, where I deem support to lie below the current market price. As you can see, we have the range low down here. Somewhere in the middle, there's clear wicks here, which tested, the rising support, and then we've got some more support here, and these will be the levels that I look to kind of take profit on this short. If we zoom into the chart, you can see sort of how that looks more clearly. So on the max momentum on the 4 hour, it's come back up to the median point, which is very typical, because there was a small uptrend. So I think now we're going to create a lower low on the max momentum, and then we could even create another lower low. So we'll have 3 lower lows, which is very typical of the max momentum. Often you'll see that there will be 3 higher highs, or in this case lower lows, depending on whether it's red or green, and that plays out. So fingers crossed we get a good short here. I'm sure we will. I've got my stop loss, like I said, at this ray here to give it some room to retest, and then I think we'll be able to bank some profits here, and I will be scaling out the market in increments. Don't